Hello, fellow paranormalers. Today is the 29th of October 2014, and as usual, I'm in the car on the way to a client in the back of nowhere in Oxfordshire. So, yeah, I thought, again, I've been thinking, as I always have done, and it's actually really nice to sort of be making contact with people like Scary Larry now, who I believe just subscribed to my channel, so thank you for that. And something that I've noticed actually quite recently is there seems to be different levels of paranormal investigators and people that do spirit sessions and such like. I think in a very simplistic way, you can split it into two immediately. You've got people who, let's just say for argument's sake, people like myself, Mike Paranormal, Scary Larry, Steve Huff, and people like that, who are not sensationalist. We just get on and do what we do, and we do it for other people, and we help other people, and, you know, we do our own thing in our own way, and we're not interested in the hype and such like. And then you've got, I think there's a lot more paranormal people who flood the internet and things like YouTube with what I call the hyper paranormal sort of thing. They want to create like a TV show. They're copying and mimicking people like Ghost Adventures and other ones. I can't remember the names of them now, but you know, the general stuff that you see on TV, and that doesn't interest me at all. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in going around provoking spirits to do stuff and, you know, try to record it on TV. So, but yeah, it's just something that I've observed, and I believe I'm sort of involved now in what I call a core group of true paranormalers that just go about doing stuff like we have done for decades, and you know, just get on and do it, and not really bothered by the hype. But sorry, I digress. Today's topic, or one of the topics that I had a thought about, and I really did want to do this in my last vlog, but I couldn't remember the subject, and something else just popped into my head. But something that I thought about at length actually yesterday while doing some other kind of work, and I just thought it's something that has occurred to me. I am being a psychologist, I observe people's behaviour, and so and I know some other mediums and spirit people have said this before, and I have heard it said sort of many years ago as well, that we live in obviously in an environment on this particular plane. People's behaviours can be quite diverse, you know, from complete passive, you know, sort of subjective people to really aggressive, violent people, and everything in between. You know, you've got the people that are really, really nice and very caring and thoughtful, and then you've got, you know, people who just go through life and perform the functions of life without thinking about it too much. You know, I mean, I'm sure we've all come across those people. And then you've got the people who, you know, sort of moving towards the other end of the scale, if you like, the red end of the scale, where, you know, there are people that are naturally nasty. There are people who are spiteful. There are people who, you know, can hurt others and then seem to enjoy it. God knows I've been married to a couple of those in my you know, younger days, so I know that these people exist. You know, whether they knowingly or unknowingly do it, subconsciously or consciously playing around with people's minds, and, you know, from a psychological point of view, there is nothing really to say that is not also happening, or that is actually happening in the spirit world. Now, I have heard other people saying that, you know, people, especially if they're human and they've lived on this plane and lived in this world and then they move on, that their actual personality and their psychology can actually be transferred over into whichever level that they're at, you know, spirit level, heaven, whatever you want to call it. And so therefore, this is why I think we ask so many questions, because as humans, we can't see these, and this is one of the reasons why I think we keep asking them to appear before us so that we can actually see who they are. Because as humans, our psychology is built up of observation and analysis. We look at people's eyes, we look at their facial expressions, we look at their body language, we listen to their voice, we observe their manners, and you know, all of these things we take in at a very subconscious level, and we make an assessment of whether we like someone or not. When you're dealing with the spirit world, we've got nothing. All we've got is typically their voice, possibly something that we can feel, and on a very, very rare occasion, an apparition. So it makes it very difficult for us to determine when we're doing spirit work and we're communicating with spirits and ghosts, whatever you want to call them, that we have. That's why we keep asking questions. We keep asking questions because we need validation of who they are. We could meet somebody in the street and they could say that their name was Mr. Smith and that they're a brain surgeon and that they earn $100,000 a year and they drive around in a, you know, 4-wheel truck or something, you know, do you know what I mean? And they own a £2 million house or something, and who are we to know? We don't know. Unless you know psychologically how to decipher that person's lying, we wouldn't really know that person was telling the truth or lying. What's to say that the same isn't, you know, is happening or isn't happening in the spirit realm? You get people who are one thing on this level and pretend to be something else. And I believe that a lot of the work that I've seen done, especially on YouTube and such like, that they could well be speaking to a spirit that's, you know, that's just pulling their leg, having a joke, having a laugh. You know, what's to say that they are speaking to a spirit that knows something about them, or maybe knew something about another spirit or somebody who had passed away, and that they're using that information to appear to be someone that they're not. So, you know, like for instance, as an example, so many people that I see who do investigative work, you know, will say who are they speaking to, and they get words coming up like the devil, Satan, Beelzebub, and you know, hell, and all of these other things. Well, you know, I've come across people in my life who've said that they're, you know, that they're the devil, or that they're Satan, or that they're evil, or that, you know, oh, you don't want to talk to me because I'm a nasty person or something. You know, I mean, I've come across people who are like that. They say things like that. You know, so how do we really know? You know, and of course there will be spirits, like there are people in the world on this physical plane who are capable of being very physical, who are capable of affecting others by, you know, psychic means or whatever, and also by physical means. So most people can't, you see. Most people are not like that. So what's to say that when you're doing an investigation and things are being thrown around and you're being, you know, if you like, attacked or scratched, touched, you know, clothing being pulled or whatever, who's to say that that's just, you know, not a spirit that's different from other spirits, obviously, capable of doing other things? So, anyway, again, that's my thoughts. You I think it is actually quite interesting, and it is something that I've had always in the back of my mind ever since I've been, doing this kind of work. Is verifying that you are actually sort of communicating with the right being, and as people like Scary Larry have experienced, spirits, sometimes they can be very clever. They can pretend to be one thing and draw you in. They're all nice and everything on the outside, and then you've got a problem because you've got an attachment. You've got somebody who's hitchhiking on you as a person, and it's sometimes very difficult to get rid of them. Just like it is befriending someone in this level, in this physical level, and then finding out that you can't get rid of them. They're coming around your house all the time. They're constantly asking, you for assistance on things, or it's the same. It's the same psychology. It's the same level of psychology. So that's my thoughts. If anyone else has got any feedback or comments about this sort of subject and their experiences, very welcome to have a discussion about it. I'm open to ideas. This is a realm that's opened up in recent years, that's, for me, and I know for a lot of other people, other paranormalers, is generating a lot of questions, and it's getting easier for people to talk to spirits. And a bit like the Ouija board, I remember situations with the Ouija board, when I was younger, and when I was very early teens. And sometimes people delve into things and they don't really understand it. They think it's a game. Oh, well, it's a game. You can just do this. Well, I'm sorry, but it isn't a game. You're dealing with deep levels of psychology that, if you don't understand and how to deal with it and where it's coming from and the potential dangers of it, it's like anything in life, taking risks is risky, believe it or not. Anyway, that's one of today's subjects, and thank you very much for watching through. I know I tend to blabber on a little bit, but I think these are all quite valid discussions, really, and I just like delving underneath things, I guess because of the psychology side of things of my career, that I find it really, really interesting how these things come about and how people deal with them. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for another discussion in another video. Thank you.